Hey fellow musician, welcome back to another tutorial, and in today's tutorial we'll be talking about vocal compression. I'll be sharing with you 5 simple tips. If you can master these 5 simple tips, you'll be able to get your vocals to sit perfectly in any mix, no matter the genre, even if you're not working on a singer and working on rap vocals or a dialogue. So let's get straight into it then. Tip number 1, always use vocal automation, manual vocal automation. So the goal here is to reduce all the loud peaks, the loud breaths, and any sibilants or any unwanted noise. So let me show you the results of gain riding.
Driver, can you stop right there for a minute? I got to say what's really on my mind. Driver, put up that partition from some new edition. Take the long way home.
So let me level match the two so that you can be able to see the difference. As you can see, the difference is just day and night. As you can see, all the loud peaks are reduced to make sure that by the time I compress the vocal, the compressor doesn't have to overwork. So in that way, the compressor will sound much more transparent. Whenever you overwork a compressor, it will introduce unwanted artifacts and unwanted distortion. So that's what I'm trying to avoid. So let's undo all this. And then tip number 2 is to always level match your compressors. This will help you avoid being fooled by any loudness. So everything that gets louder, we might perceive it as being better. So that's what you want to try to avoid. Obviously, with experience, this is usually not necessary. But for all those who are beginners, make sure that you are level matching the before and after so that you are not fooled by any level gain. So check it out. I'll start with the compressor disengaged and then I'll enable it halfway through the vocal. Check it out.
Driver, can you stop right there for a minute? I got to say what's really on my mind. Driver, put up that partition from some new edition. Take the long way home.
So if you notice there, the only difference that you could hear is that the loud peaks are now reduced and the quieter parts of the vocal have been brought up in volume. So you didn't hear any volume change. That's the aim. So make sure that you level match the before and after. With great compressors such as the FabFilter Pro C2, is that there is an auto gain feature. So you can always use the auto gain feature if you don't want to do it manually. I always prefer to do things manually, but you can simply use the auto gain feature and then just call it a day. Other great compressors always come with gain compensation built into the plugin. So make sure that you take advantage of that. And then let's disengage this. And then next up, tip number 3 is serial compression. To make sure that you get a transparent sound, always use serial compression instead of overworking one compressor. Serial compression is basically having multiple compressors instead of using one. So you can have like 3 different compressors all doing like minor compression. The goal here is to have one compressor, the first compressor, which is usually the 1176 in most cases, because the 1176 is a fast compressor. So what you want to do with the 1176 is to catch all the loud peaks. So let's remove this one for now. So the goal here is to catch all the loud peaks and make sure that you reduce all the loud peaks without compressing the entire vocal. So here are the results. Check it out.
Driver, can you stop right there for a minute? I got this.
Okay, I forgot to engage the compressor. Sorry about that. Here you go.
Driver, can you stop right there for a minute? I got to say what's really on my mind. Driver, put up that partition from some new edition. Take the long way home.
Even if you look at the gain reduction meter, you'll be able to see that the compressor is not always working. It's only working on the loudest peaks. So let me close this and then increase the volume so that you can see the before and after. So as you can see, all the loud peaks have been reduced, as you can see. Okay, so that's the goal of compressor number 1. Let's remove this. And then compressor number 2 is just for smoothing out the vocal. So check it out.
Driver, can you stop right there for a minute? I got to say what's really on my mind. Driver, put up that partition, from some new edition, take the long way home.
So as you can hear, now the compressor sounds much more clearer, much more transparent. It's not obvious that you are compressing, so the signal will never get squashed. That's the beauty of using clip gain automation and then 2 compressors. So everything is just doing minor work, okay? So that you get a transparent vocal without introducing any unwanted artifacts. Okay, let's move on. And then tip number 4 is upward compression. Upward compression will bring up the quieter parts of the vocal to match them with the louder parts of the vocal so that the vocal can be well balanced throughout the entire performance. So check it out.
Driver, can you stop right there for a minute? I got to say what's really on my mind. Driver, put up that partition, from some new edition, take the long way home.
So as you can see, let me level match there too. So as you can see, this part has been brought up in volume. Even if you look at these vocal breaths here, they are quieter. Here, they're a bit louder. So all the quieter parts have been brought up, which is why you always need to do pre-gain automation, because a compressor will always bring up the quieter parts. So if I didn't use pre-gain, these breaths and these quieter parts would be way too loud and make the vocals sound unnatural. This is why using clip gain automation is really important. So make sure that you don't miss this step here. And then that's it with upward compression. But as you can see, this part and this part, you can see there's a difference here. Even if you look at this part and this one as well, you can see that now the quieter parts are more audible. And if you listen to the vocal, you can be able to hear that now you can hear each and every word much more clearer. And then tip number 5 is de-essing. So de-essing, make sure that you de-ess to remove any sibilants. So let's check it out.
Driver, can you stop right there for a minute? I got to say what's really on my mind. Driver, put up that partition, from some new edition, take the long way home.
Now, when it comes to de-essing, I also recommend to use the clip gain automation to reduce all the sibilants. In this case, I didn't reduce any sibilants because they are not piercing in the ear. They are not too loud. So using a de-esser was the better option instead of using clip gain. But I would always recommend you to use clip gain and then use a bit of de-essing to polish your results, because you are human, obviously, you're not perfect. So you'll miss certain parts or not apply enough volume automation. So make sure that you use both clip gain automation and then de-esser. If you want to learn more about de-essing, I have a blog post that goes way deeper into it. So those are the 5 tips. If, like I said, if you can master these 5 tips, you'll be able to get a well-balanced vocal that fits perfectly in the mix. So let's check out the before and after. What I'll do is to disengage all the compressors and the de-essing, and then we'll compare the results.
Driver, can you stop right there for a minute? I got to say what's really on my mind. Driver, put up that partition, from some new edition, take the long way home.
So as you can hear, some parts of the vocal are much more quieter, while other parts of the vocal are way too loud. So let's engage the compressors again. And then these are the results.
Driver, can you stop right there for a minute? I got to say what's really on my mind. Driver, put up that partition, from some new edition, take the long way home.
So even if you just look at the results visually, you can be able to see that now the vocal is much more balanced. Remember not to make it too perfect, because once it's too perfect, it will sound unnatural and inorganic. I hope you found the tutorial helpful. If you have any questions, always leave a comment below and I'll definitely get back to you. I'm always here to help you guys. Make sure that you watch the video multiple times just to make sure that you understand the process. Okay? That's it for today. Cheers.